Hello and welcome to my channel On the Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And today let's find out what's been on the hook. I hope everyone had a great week this week. I hope everyone is staying warm. I am so sorry about this huge cold snap that is enveloping half the country. Our area was right on the edge. We were just right on the edge of this cold front, and we were so thankful and grateful that we didn't have to lose power and that we didn't get any snow. We had a little bit of ice rain last night, but it has since melted because our temperatures are up in the upper 30s, low 40s. So we are so terribly fortunate here in East Tennessee. I hope that you're in an area where you can stay warm and that maybe you haven't lost power, and if you have, I hope it comes on very, very quickly. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who is suffering with this very cold weather. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you'll subscribe and like this video. Before you forget, click the like button, and that helps me move along with YouTube and for them to send out my videos to others who might enjoy crochet content. So let's start. Today I have released my Irish cowl pattern on Etsy, and it went out a couple of days ago. I sent an email to all the community with a substantial discount code, and you can use that if you want to purchase this pattern or any other pattern in my shop. I now have over 50 patterns out there, so if you want to shop around and buy a pattern or two, you can use that discount code to buy the pattern. This pattern has just been released. It's the Irish cowl, and I show you in here how to make each motif, how to connect them with an interesting join. I came up with this join. It gives the cowl a little bit of a drapey feel. The motifs are not attached to each other in a stiff fashion. They are in a movable join, and let me show you that. I don't know if you can see that. You can see through the join there, and these are chains that connect the two motifs together, and then I've gone around the edges with two different colors and a scalloped edge to finish it off. So I'm very pleased with it. I was inspired by Marie Callen's Aoife scarf. That's how you pronounce it. It's not spelled that way. It's spelled A-O-I-F-E, but it's pronounced in Scotland as, or it's Irish, I'm sorry, Aoife. It's pronounced Aoife. She had produced this beautiful pattern. It was a very difficult pattern to make. I didn't want to spend the time on it that it required, and so I decided to just come up with something of my own that would use some of those same colors. Now today I'm wearing a chartreuse turtleneck, and I decided to make lemons from lemonade. I didn't like the chartreuse color that I had used in one of the motifs, a couple of the motifs I think, right there, and I decided to just focus on that color. I'm using the earrings, the jewelry, the turtleneck to bring out the color of this particular green, and the color is called Grove. It's a DK weight city tweed from Knit Picks, and I've talked about this before, but this is kind of a chartreuse color, and if you look, it's very close to the color that I have on. This is a little bit more yellow, but that's more the color that I really like. But this is the color that I used around at least this motif right here. I think I used a couple of them on there, but I really like the way it looks. I'm kind of pleased with it. I'm wearing it with a black knit jacket, and let me stand up and show this to you. This is just a very casual black jacket, and I'm using this cowl to give it some pizzazz. So I really like it. I've grown to like it. It's also very, very warm. It's made from wool. You don't have to make it from wool. You can make it from any yarn that you want, honestly, and any colors that you want. You can use a color scheme like this. This is the one that I use. This is the last time I'll show this. This is in a tray, and I use these colors to make this cowl. I've listed all those colors in the pattern, so if you're interested to know which colors I used, you can look there. And I just listed them. I didn't say what order I used them in. What you have to do is just get the colors together and decide how you want to do the centers and the middle part of the motif, and then the surround around the edge. So you make those decisions, and I actually did a lot of work on the colors. I decided to throw in this color though because I was just enamored with this color, but I wasn't real excited about it after I finished. But if I wanted to keep this very muted, I would not have used that color here. I would have used a darker color or a different kind of color, but I would not have used the chartreuse. So that's just thoughts that I had, second thoughts that I talked about in my video on Monday. I was thinking twice about how I was going to coordinate those colors, and I had already done so, and I was not excited about it, but now I'm okay with it. I'm wearing it with that color, and it kind of brings out that color of the cowl. So this is the pattern out on Etsy. It's not expensive, and if you're in the community, you will have an inbox email. So be sure to check that, and you'll have your discount code there. So you can use that if you decide to take a look at this pattern. Moving along, let's look at this whip that I have for spring. And I had shown this a couple of videos ago, and y'all really liked it. This is made from cobblestone by Lion brand, and I have designed a body for the sweater to be something a little bit different. It's kind of fun. You can take a look at that. That gives the sweater some interest, and I love this color. This is called Misty Rose, and that is of course the cobblestone line of yarn from Lion brand. And then I use the licorice, which is the kind of a black charcoal mixed with white, and it gives that a little bit of interest for the stripes. I'm putting a stripe at the top of the sweater that will run all the way down the sleeve and one across the front, and then the body of the sweater is crocheted in a different stitch pattern than the stripes. So that's how the back will look as well, only it won't have this dip in it. This is the front. I've already done all the decreasing along the edges, and I'm all the way up to the shoulder, and I've crocheted the sleeve right into the sweater. So the back is in process. I have about this much of the back done already, and all I have to do is finish it up, matching the sides with the stripes in the front, and then I will sew it together, put some edgings on it, and it will be ready for you to make if you want to, if you're interested in that. This is my first spring sweater. It's not light, totally lightweight. It's a little bit heavier than some sweaters I've made, but this is a size 4 weight acrylic, and I like it. It's very, very easy to crochet with. It doesn't split. There are no knots in the yarn that I have found. I worked my way through almost 1 cake of each color, and so to make the sweater you'll probably need 2 cakes of 2 different colors, or maybe 1 cake. We might be able to get away with 1 cake for the stripes. I'll let y'all know when I finish the sweater how much yarn you will need, but I really like the cobblestone. I like it, but you can make this from any size 4 yarn that you want, and just use kind of the idea of the stripes, and you'll have a nice sweater for spring. So I'm excited about that. Another work in progress I have in the hopper is the City Shadows. I had a lot of people who loved City Shadows. I do too. I've had so many compliments on that sweater because it's so subtle, but it's so beautiful. And I think one reason too, it's made from the City Tweed. I really like that yarn, and this is the color that I used to make the City Shadows. It's called Obsidian. I've said it many times. And then I contrasted that with the color Romance, and those are the 2 colors I used for the City Shadows sweater. This is a picture of the City Shadows. Let's see if I can get it back here where you can see it. It has a little bit of contrast around the neck, around the sleeve, and around the bottom of the sweater. Now, I liked it so much, I had originally bought several sweater quantities of City Tweed. One was a blue, one was a green, and one was the black Obsidian. And I started with that when I made that, and I thought, you know what, that is such a comfortable sweater. I'm going to make another one while it's still wintertime, it's still cold. So I started the City Shadows sweater in the color Coastal. This is a blue City Tweed, quite gorgeous, and it is has a little bit of brown in it every so often. You know, the tweeds are kind of brown, the little flecks of color. So I've started that, and I'm working on the front. I'm already up one side. I'm still working to the shoulder here, and then I will do the other side as well. And I'm actually following the pattern as written because I wanted to make two just alike, and I don't have any changes that I can think of that I'm going to make on this particular blue sweater, but I'm going to grab the contrasting color and see what you think about this. I'm going to use the contrasting color Snowbank in the City Tweed. It is an off-white, and this will make the sweater a little bit lighter looking, a little bit more towards spring, and I can wear it when it's cold in the spring, but it'll be a light color, so that'll kind of make me feel like summer's on its way. I love summertime. I don't care how hot it gets, but wintertime is not my favorite time of year. So the color again is Snowbank. If you want to look it up on the web, there is on Knit Picks, you can go to City Tweed, search for City Tweed DK, and all the colors come up, and they're so beautiful. I click on them all the time and look at the different colors, and I have quite a collection now, so I can use them for color work at the top of a sweater or as a contrast on any kind of sweater that I'm making. So this is my new whip, work in progress, and I'll be working on this diligently so that I can wear it now while it's cool weather. I have a new pattern coming out called the Sea and Sky Pullover, or the Sea and Sky Sweater. I really like it because it's made from wool, but it's fingering weight yarn. Now I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I received this from Knit Crate in one of the subscription boxes, and it's a beautiful, beautiful color. And I received the pink. This is the blue color that Glenda at Creative Grandma sent me as a gift. So sweet of her to do that. It's been a year, so I wanted to give her another shout out. This was a very kind gesture that she made toward me, and I said I was working on a pattern, and I have been, but it's been in my timeout for a while, and I pulled it back out, and Crystal, my lovely dress form gal, she wanted to model it for you. So let me pull it out. I'm not finished with it yet, but I wanted to show you some special things about this particular sweater. I've tried on this sweater, and it fits very, very well. It's done in a little bit of a boxy fit, so it would fit pretty much anybody that's even near my size. But I added about, it looks like I've added about 8 inches of ease on this particular sweater. Now, I wanted to show you a couple of things about this sweater. I'm using cross stitch and double crochet for the body. I did the ribbing in a 2x3 rib, so I don't know if you can see that, but that is what it looks like at the bottom. And this was back when I was into the ribs. I was doing all kinds of ribs. I decided that I like this rib, so I used this on this particular sweater, and in the pattern I will show you how to do that. It turned out really nice, and it's very stretchy. I like it quite a bit. Rather than just a plain rib, it has ribs that are separated, and I'll show you how to do that in the pattern. But this is a 3/4 sleeve pattern, and because it's boxy, the sleeves came right over to here. As you can see when it lays down like that. I started the sleeve here, I laid it out flat, and I crocheted the sleeve on flat, and then I sewed the underarm seam here. Now, another thing that I did, I finished the neck. I used a very simple neckline edge on this. This is just a double crochet with 2 other rows below it that are not double crochet, but they kind of gave it the base. I finished up with a double crochet to mimic the stitches in the sweater itself. Now I'm going to turn Crystal around and show you. This, of course, is the sleeve. I haven't finished the sleeve yet. I'm still deciding what kind of finish I'm going to use. And what I think I'm going to do is a couple of rows here at the bottom where I decrease. And I'm going to get that sleeve down to where it's a little bit smaller. And then I'll put an edging on it. I've done that several times. And I really like the way it works because you can make the sleeve as wide as you want. But then at the very bottom you can bring it together. And then you can put your edging on it. And it gives the sleeve a nice look. Also, on this sleeve, I did not use quite as wide an opening as I usually do. This is a 7.5 inch opening. I usually use an 8 or an 8.5 inch, and that gives the sleeve a little bit more length here at the armhole, but I decided not to. And when I tried it on, it fit very well. It's not too tight, and it's not extremely loose around here because This part of my arm is actually the bicep. It's not up here at the armhole. This is quite a bit bigger. But here where I joined the sleeve, I'm at the bicep. So it's going to be a little bit smaller measurement for me. So I used a 7.5 and that worked out just fine. Now I'm going to flip Crystal around here. This is the back of the sweater. Very, very beautiful. I love the way the blues just come and go. And some of that is because of the different skeins that I used. Some were more blue than others, and I just let them fly. I was not going to worry about doing one ball for one row and another ball for another row. I know knitters do that quite often, but I just didn't really feel like doing that. I just kind of let the yarn speak for itself in this particular sweater. So this is made just like the front, but up here at the top, I wanted to show you this. I used short rows on this particular sweater. Now, if you make a regular sweater and you don't use short rows, sometimes the sweater will fall back and it tries to find its equilibrium. So the neck of the sweater sometimes will fall backwards and you'll have to keep adjusting it. I don't know if you noticed that, about some patterns are like that. And if you don't put short rows at the top of a sweater, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. But in this particular case, I think because the yarn is so light and soft that it was going to ride back on me. So what I did was I added short rows at the top of the neck. How you do that is that you join your yarn at the shoulder seam and you crochet across and stop at the other shoulder seam. Now on this particular pattern, this is how I'm going to describe it in the pattern. Now I used 2 short rows. That's all I used on here because it starts right here. So I used 2 short rows there, and that brings the back of the sweater up, and then I added the edging at the very top, which went all the way around. So if you can see that, I'm going to turn her slowly, and you can see how the neck goes up in the back and then it comes back down at the shoulder seam right there. So it's just a little technique that many knitwear and crochet wear designers are using to make sure that the sweater fits you the way it should. I suggest you try that on your next sweater, and they will be in the directions for this particular pattern so that you can add your short rows. And there's a technique to adding them here. You don't just double crochet all the way across. You have to gradually add these rows here. You can't just start crocheting. And I'll show you how to do that. This turned out really nice though. See how it hugs the back of the neck? I really like the way that fits. This sweater will probably go on the block this week. I will soak it, and I've decided to use this. This is a sample that I received from someone I ordered yarn from, and it's called Soak. And what it is just basically Rapture, which is another one that I used on City Shadows. I used Rapture, and I've ordered a bottle of this from a supplier, and it hasn't come yet. So I'm down to one sample that I have called Soak, and this is for fine woolens, and I'm sure I could probably use woolite or something, but I like the way these smell. They make the wool smell really nice when it's dry. It smells so wonderful. So if y'all are wondering what this is just my right side stitch marker. I usually do that. This is really funny. The other day I noticed that there was a stitch marker on here at the bottom of the sweater, okay, where I was starting, and I marked the right side with it, and it's a St. Patrick's stitch marker, which was last March. So this has been on here for a whole year. This was given to me by a sister YouTuber, and I will put her name down here at the bottom of the screen, but and I'll put a link to her YouTube channel as well. But she sends me beautiful little stitch markers, and this was sent to me last March, and it's a St. Patrick's. So I put it right on the sweater, and I found it the other day. I thought that was so ironic that this has been sitting around for a whole year, and I had done about this much, and I wanted to go ahead and finish it because it is a beautiful, beautiful sweater. So again, the yarn was gifted to me by Glenda at Creative Grandma. Thank you to Crystal for being such a great model this morning. She is very, very patient and stands right where I put her, so I appreciate that. Now, I want to show you something that I made this week. This was on my Instagram feed, and let me just show you this. This is not anything special. It's just a rectangle. And I used some really nice wool that I found in my stash to make this mug rug, and I'm just really fascinated by mug rugs. I could use them everywhere. I sit down a lot of times and have a cup of coffee or tea, and next to my chair I like to have somewhere to set that mug without it being on a coaster. I just, I like these because you can then lay a napkin on there, or a napkin and a spoon or something, and you're not laying them right onto your table. So I really like these mug rugs. I've seen these many times, and I thought, well, I'm just going to make myself one. But before I did this, I actually bought a book called Mug Mats, and this is by Annie's Crochet. They're called Farmhouse Mug Mats. Very cute. There's one with a little truck and the pumpkins on it. There's some hearts and some Christmas trees. Here are the others that are available in the book. They're all very cute and sweet. And I started making this one right here with the two mugs with the hearts on it. And I didn't have the right yarn. And a lot of times when you're making a pattern, you should really try to get the right yarn for that, at least for the first go around. But being the crazy person that I am, I grabbed some yarn and I started making that mug mat, what she calls mug mats in here. My focus is wearable crochet, and I bought this because I thought I could whip one up in no time. And they're intermediate level crochet projects. They're not for beginners, and usually beginners I can just whip through it without any problem, don't have to think too hard, and I can finish a project very quickly. But there are so many cute designs in here. I really liked the book, and I ordered it. I waited 2 or 3 weeks for it to come. It finally came, and I love the little designs that they've used. It's a very inventive book, but I won't be using this book anymore. I don't want to spend the time on it. I think they're so cute, but I didn't have the right size yarn, and I didn't have the right colors, and so I really messed up. I was using green instead of orange, and after I got about halfway through, I realized that I was not going to finish it. You have to carry your floats on the back if you don't use these little devices where you wind yarn onto a little, almost like a little spindle, and I have some of those. I used them one Christmas when I was making some black and white checkered pillows for my friends, or actually for a special friend, and I made the pillow, and I ended up not liking it because it was so complicated, but I finished it. And when I realized this is what I was going to be in for on this particular book, I decided to give it away this week. So I'm going to give this away to a lucky subscriber, and it's a really super nice book. It's very well photographed. It's beautiful inside. The pictures are really nice, and everything Annie's does is very nice. I like it, but it is a skill level intermediate. So if you're not interested in this book, just don't put the keyword in your comments. So I'll talk about that here in just a second, but I'm going to block my Sea and Sky sweater. I'm going to soak it in the special soap, and then I'm going to pull it out, and then I'm going to soak this. I'm not going to soak them together, obviously, because this is going to bleed. I have a feeling this is going to bleed. But I'm going to block this and the sweater at the same time because it's kind of catty-wampered. It's not perfectly square, although all the stitches are correct. It's just drawing up a little bit because it's wool. I made it out of wool. So I'm going to block this and stretch it out just a little bit, like that. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit, and I'm going to block it at the same time I block my sweater. Now, I had some people that asked me, how do I block my sweaters? So I'm going to document how I block that particular sweater once I finish the sleeves and I take it downstairs. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to take a video and show y'all how I block my crocheted sweaters. So that'll probably be on the next video because I plan to do it starting tomorrow, so I'll probably be taking my video tomorrow, and hopefully I can put it on Monday's video. Now let's look at the giveaway for this week. I'm going to select a winner with the random comment picker from YouTube for the Crochet Surprise this week, and this is awesome. I really like this. Like I said, I'd like to keep it for myself. But my deal with Crochet Surprise is to give away this box to one of my subscribers. The project inside is a beautiful, gorgeous gathered wrap. It's called Gorgeous Gathered Wrap. This is a picture of the Gorgeous Gathered Wrap. As you can see, it has a little piece that's separate crocheted on there, and then you pull the wrap through that. So it tells you how to do that in the directions. Also, one of my favorite parts of this Crochet Surprise is the Jasmine Peony. This will go to the winner. It will be in the box, so you can try this beautiful tea. I love this tea. I have some in my drawer from when I was actually paying for the Crochet Surprise, and I still use it when it's really, really cold. I like to grab some of that tea and make it up. I'll have somewhere to put my mug and maybe a treat on my new mug mat that I made. Now, this is the yarn that's enclosed in the box. There are 4 skeins of this. It's Lion Brand Heartland yarn. Beautiful, beautiful. 251 yards on the ball. So you may have too much and you might be able to make something else with this. I don't know. But I do love it. It's a beautiful color. It's a kind of a misty rose color. Very similar to the color I'm using in the cobblestone. Very beautiful. And this has Lion Brand's new branding on it, and I don't know if you've seen that. I have some video that I'm going to show maybe Monday of some of the different brands of Lion Brand that if they've changed the ball band and the design of their yarn bands. I think it's really neat. It's kind of a different look. It's a little bit retro actually. So anyway, this is called Capital Reef, and the keyword was reef, R-E-E-F. So if you type that in your comment from last Monday's video, you'll be in the running for this particular giveaway. So let's turn the camera to the computer and find out who wins the Crochet Surprise for this month. Here we are at the random comment picker. I have put the URL right there from last Monday's video. So that's where we're pulling these comments from. This is the keyword, which is reef. Now let's find out how many comments we had with that particular word in them. They will be in the running for the giveaway for this Crochet Surprise box. And that would be 477. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you again for participating. Let's start and find out who wins the Crochet Surprise box for this month. Debbie Walker. Debbie, there is her word reef. Debbie Walker, you are the winner of the Crochet Surprise. Be sure to email me your mailing address so I can get that right out to you. Congratulations. Debbie Walker, congratulations. You have won the Crochet Surprise. Love this box. This is an awesome box this month. And if you're interested in signing up for a monthly subscription, I recommend it. It's so much fun. You get something different every single month. It's not just the same yarn or the same type of gift. It is a new pattern and the yarn to go with it. And sometimes they're wearables, which is what this is. And sometimes they are items that you can make. There are baby things, amigurumi. We've done all kinds of things with Crochet Surprise. So be sure to go down in the description box and take a look at how to sign up for the Crochet Surprise monthly subscription. And there's also a way to get a discount when you tell them that you know me and that you watch my channel. So our giveaway next Monday, I'm going to give away this book. It's called Mug Mats. I talked about it earlier in the video, and it has so many cute designs in it, but they're not wearables, and I really don't have time to do this, so I'm going to give this away to the winner of the giveaway next Monday. So be sure you go down into the comments box and use the word mug, M-U-G, right there, M-U-G, in your comment. You'll be in the running for this book for next Monday's giveaway, so be sure to do that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's my late week video, so I don't see really any difference between this one and on Mondays. I'm still running at about 70 miles an hour, so but I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please press the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet if you want to see more. But you might want to follow me on Instagram. I do a lot of midweek photographs of things that I'm working on and progress that I've made on WIP. So join me again Monday to find out what's on the hook.